Welcome back to On the Rise with myself, Lane, and I'm here today to break down a new dual national for the Canadian men's national team. And it is a center back prospect and a very intriguing player at that, as it was all first announced through Canada Bible on X just last night that there is a new dual national eligible to represent Canada through his Canadian father, and that player is Lucas Pos, a 25-year-old center back currently playing his football out in Switzerland's top flight for a club by the name of Stade Lausanne. And this is a very intriguing player, as of course center back right now is a very touchy position for the Canadian men's national team. A position with not that much depth and not great quality at the top end. As you look at the Canadian roster throughout all positions, center back is the position the Canadian men's national team is truly crying out for, whether it's depth-wise or a top-end starter, and Lucas Pos might be a great addition to this Canadian side, in my opinion. And this is a very intriguing player, and especially a dual national find through Canada Bible. But just last night, about an hour later after Canada Bible posted his findings around Lucas Pos, we saw Manuel Veth come out talking about Lucas Pos being eligible for the Canadian men's national team. And he went on to say that Lucas Pos is currently acquiring his Canadian passport and in the process of becoming a Canadian eligible player. And that is extremely interesting because when I first read about Lucas Pos, you almost think, since he is currently a Switzerland citizen as well a US citizen, also playing some early day football with the USMNT Academy, only 2 appearances. He isn't cap-tied at all, guys, so no need to worry there. But Lucas Pos is a current US and Swiss citizen, but now in the process of acquiring his Canadian passport. So when you almost read the first breakings of this, you think maybe it's going to be an Aiden Morris situation or another situation like a Marcelo Flores, something where we find out about a new Canadian dual national and immediately it's just bait to tempt him to go to another country. But once Manuel Veth came out talking that he's currently in the process of acquiring his Canadian passport, that kind of squashes any rumors of him going to a different country. Hasn't really picked up any caps with the USMNT of late, only 2 appearances with their academy when he was a lot younger. And this was quite a long time ago for Lucas Pos when he did represent the USMNT's academy. So then you have to look now to Canada, as he's now acquiring a Canadian passport. And that is very exciting because when you do look at the Canadian depth at center back, like I said, it's extremely lacking. Yes, we do have some very exciting center backs when you look at the likes of what Kamal Miller's done of recently, how Derek Cornelius was absolutely killing it in Malmo, winning the title, and then it drops off significantly. Steven Vittoria is very much aging, playing on a very lacking Chivas side, or Chavez side, and then you got Joel Waterman. Yes, he's a decent MLS center back, but is he going to cut it at the MLS at the top international level? For me, not really. Lucas McNaughton's a decent center back. And then you got the players like Scott Kennedy, Zach McGraw, and for me, LDF has to be our top 4 center backs now. And for me personally, looking at what Lucas Pos has done so far throughout his career, playing in a very good league in the Swiss top flight, that I personally think is a very good division with sides like Basel, Young Boys, some great squads in there, and some sides that always give a run for their money, whether it's in the Champions League, Europa League, Conference League, some great sides who always have some great European runs in them, in those teams, and even Basel of late, but right now they're currently in a slump, of course. But there's some great sides within that Swiss top flight, and Lucas Pos is a very intriguing center back. Because when you talk about the Canadian depth in center back, you don't just look at depth, you look at whether we're playing a 3 in the back, whether we're playing a 4 in the back, whether who can play at left-sided center back and who can play at right-sided center back, who's a right footer and who's a left footer. But right now, it's very mixed between the Canadian player pool because you have our best center backs are all left-footed. But the very intriguing thing here with Lucas Pos is he is both-footed. He's very preferred to play with both feet. When you do look it up on FootMob around Lucas Pos, his preferred foot it doesn't say left, it doesn't say right. He is both-footed. So he is great with both feet, whether it's playing out from the back, being able to control the ball. He can use both of his feet, which is extremely rare to hear in the modern game for a center back. Usually you're one-footed, usually you can play it left center back, usually you can play it right center back. It's very rare to hear about a center back who is good with both feet and who can play on either side. So Lucas Pos sounds like a very intriguing player just for that reason alone, because Canada doesn't really have a center back who is unbelievably strong with their right foot. So then if you do want to play a three in the back, you don't have to worry about bringing Alistair Johnston at right center back. You can then line up with the likes of Steven Vittoria, Lucas Pos, and Kamal Miller, or Derek Cornelius in there, and be very balanced throughout your back three. Or you can start Lucas Pos at right center back and have LDF backing him up, and start Derek Cornelius at left center back with Kamal Miller backing him up. And then you can be very balanced, having two great players with their right foot, having two great players with their left foot, some center backs we can really trust and we can really rely on, pardon me. But then you look at Lucas Pos and you think, does he have the pace? Does he have the ability? So far, I'll be honest, this is only from last night and I haven't been able to watch any film from Lucas Pos, but I'll now be starting to watch what he is like, especially since he's acquiring a Canadian passport. So this might mean that Mauro Biello might be fast-tracking him and could possibly be getting him in this Trinidad and Tobago roster coming up next month. I think that'd be very interesting if he does call him up. That would show the quality in Lucas Pos. That would show how much belief we have in Lucas Pos. But just the fact that he's going out there and acquiring a Canadian passport shows that he wants to represent Canada at the international level. Of course, so far he hasn't been able to break the US Mentee squad, and that Swiss squad is going to be extremely difficult to crack into with some of the center backs they have at the top end of Manuel Akanji, Fabian Schär, and the list goes on. But just knowing he's acquiring his Canadian passport is massive for Canadian supporters, and of course this national team to finally find a dual national at such a position of need. And the fact he is both-footed is a huge boost for Canadians, because whenever we've talked about the center back depth, it hasn't just been a conversation of the quality of center backs we've had. Yes, that has always been in the topic. It's always been a topic of the quality we have, but besides that, we've always talked about who's going to play at that right side at center back, who's going to play down the middle, who's strong with their right foot. Because when you do look at our center back pool, it's Derek Cornelius, a left-footed center back. It's Kamal Miller, a strong left-footed center back. It's Scott Kennedy, a strong left-footed center back. And the list goes on. When you look at guys who can play with both feet, Lucas Pos looks like he might be that guy. And playing in a very good league in the Swiss top flight, I know a lot of you MLS fans might think that MLS is miles ahead of the Swiss top flight, but I believe some of these teams in Switzerland, whether it's Young Boys, whether it's sides like Basel in the past, whether it's some of the top teams in Switzerland, I think would beat top teams in MLS. And I just think the Swiss league, playing in Europe, teams that go for runs within European football have that ability, have that caliber, and the fact he's been going up against them sometimes on a weekly basis is massive. And sometimes our players don't get that. When you're playing against sides like Young Boys, when you're playing against sides, of course, like Grasshoppers, who even Theo Corbianu played with this season, and is a very interesting side. Of course, I'm not saying they're a great team, but you got St. Gallen, you got the likes of the Young Boys. There's some fantastic sides in that division, and playing against those teams are very exciting. And especially when he is 6'1", he's a very intriguing prospect. And at the age of 25, I think Lucas Pos could possibly be in his way and might even be ready to start for the Canadian national team. But let me know what you guys think down below. This was a pure reaction to everything I saw last night around the news of our new dual national center back. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions in the comments below. Drop a like, hit the comments, and make sure to hit that sub button, because we have a Theo Corbianu video coming around his transfer to Granada very soon. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.